Well, that's a very important report being put together by a UN panel of experts who looks at the situation in Syria, but also how it relates to other countries like the DPRK. This report has taken several months to put together. There's 200 pages in total. It details shipments that have taken place, 40 previously unreported ones, taking place between the DPRK and Syria between 2012 and 2017. Now, in those shipments, there were a number of missile parts, conventional missiles, but also parts that would help to put together chemical weapons as well. Things like acid-resistant tiles, valves, and thermometers. This report also details at least 3 visits in 2016 where DPRK missile testing workers visited sites in Syria to look at the chemical weapons that were being produced there. Now, of course, this throws up a number of different problems. One of the issues is that Syria is clearly continuing with the making of chemical weapons, and that the DPRK is finding a way to make money, an illicit revenue stream to bring money into the country to potentially then be used for their own nuclear and missile testing program. It's not clear if these alleged actions are still going on or if they are historical from a year or so back. But what we do know is that the UN Security Council will be briefed on this. They're just working out the timing of the meeting. It could take place as early as the end of this week or potentially the beginning of next.
And there are also conflicting reports, Nick, about whether Syria launched a chemical weapons attack in Syria just this Sunday. If you talk to the Syrians, they say they were not behind it.
That's right. No, indeed, this attack, which allegedly took place on Sunday, we know at least 1 child died, and there were a number of people taken to hospital being treated for symptoms that you'd normally see in a chemical weapons attack. We know that the OPCW, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, the international watchdog that looks at such matters, is now investigating to try and work out if this was a chemical weapons attack. They won't apportion blame, whereas they have in the past. For example, in 2016, they came back with a report saying that on at least 3 occasions the Syrian government had used chemical weapons on their own people. The UK also looking into to get involved in this. The Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson suggesting that they may carry out limited airstrikes like we saw from the United States last year if there is incontrovertible evidence that chemical weapons were used by the Syrian government.